Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights, here with a special episode. Sunday is Mother's Day, and I thought, I already interviewed my mom, and not going to do that, but I just was thinking, what does my mom want for Mother's Day? And that's one thing that most of us who are listening to this podcast right now either have a mom or had a mom, and I hope you're appreciating your mom as much as I appreciate my mom. I got a great dad too, but really appreciate my mom, and Mother's Day is a great day to do that. Regardless of whether your mom is predeceased to you, it's great to have a great memory of moms that in so many cases did so much for us of getting us started in the right direction. And as I said, my mom only threw away some of my cards, so it's enough to teach me a lesson to be responsible. So what does my mom want for Mother's Day? What do you give a mother that already has everything? Well, I can assure you, listeners, that one thing every mom wants is to know their son's doing okay, or their daughter, whether it's the collector. Most of y'all listening are going to be collectors. What does your mom want? Now, she may want some chocolates or flowers or a present. But if there's a card involved, and I don't mean a sports card, if there's a card involved, some sentiment of appreciation of your mom. But, again, the other part of that is, she would love to know their son is doing all right. So what did I learn from my mom, and how can I affirm my mom in this regard in a way that has sports card insights in it? Number one, my mom really helped me see how to focus for the main thing. My mom was very focused. I talk about not being focused in my card pursuits, but I am focused in my lack of focus, because I am aware immediately of what I am interested in and not. So I'm very clear about that. It's just not something that I could write down. I think my mom knows that. My mom knows that I'm, again, going in the right direction, and she certainly had a history of making really good decisions along the way as well. So thanks, Mom, for that. Number two, my mom helped me to see that people are not perfect, and putting a person on a pedestal, regardless of how great they were at baseball, football, basketball, or hockey, was is unwise. That nobody is perfect, and to appreciate the abilities that player has and collect in that regard is a good thing. I think sometimes people get swept away and think that their favorite player can do no wrong, and life is complicated, life is difficult, injuries happen, pandemics happen, you don't know. So thanks, Mom, for encouraging me to not put people on too lofty of a pedestal. Number three, my mom, I don't know that I got punished for this, because I think I was pretty good on this regard, but the language I used, certainly I had teenage years where my language wasn't that great, but over time, the wisdom of having edifying language and language that is building up and not tearing down is wise. People then want to do business with people that are speaking in ways that are encouraging and edifying. So thanks, Mom, for that. My mom it's not that she didn't call out something that was wrong, but it was more it was less of an attack on the person and more on the fact that a mistake was made. So number four, what I got is my mom was a really hard worker. And she was, encouraged me to work hard. When you're working, be present and work there. Now, when you're not working, you don't have to work all the time, as evidenced by my heart attack, which shocked my mom. That was not a present that my mom received. That was actually on a Sunday morning in October, so it wasn't in May, but it was, kind of a shock to her system as well as mine. But so the work ethic was great. Number five, I think my mom really impressed upon me the importance of family. And by family, I kind of mean not just your blood relatives, but your extended family and friends. That if you have success and leave your family and friends behind, it's not real success. Your family gives you a name, and that name is a good name. There's and you don't want to mess it up. There's you got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Fernando Tatis Jr. and other, all the Ray and Bob and Brett and Aaron Boone. You've got lots of family legacies in, all the Matthews, the Clay and Bruce Matthews, and Clay Jr., Clay perhaps the third. A lot of legacies in families. It's important. It's important in the industry. And it, as I said, it gives the namesake a chance, an opportunity, some visibility, but you got to do it on your own. Number six, I do not do stuff that would cause me to contact my mom from jail. I don't commit crimes. It's really sad when, for the little bit of prison ministry that I've done, is that every person in jail, and most of them, the ones I go to, are men. They've got a mom that they disappointed. Well, don't disappoint your mom. Don't disappoint your family. Don't do things. Again, nobody's perfect, but there's a level of things that you can do that get you in trouble to where you break laws that involve going to jail. So, not asking for perfection, but don't do, and that even goes for just even, on the internet, it's so easy to do character assassination. You're not killing anybody, but if you're killing their reputation and you're trolling them, that's, what goes around comes around. So I want to be the kind of guy that makes my mom proud. And that means not, doing that kind of stuff. And I encourage you to do that too. Number 7, I learned, my dad epitomizes this too, but just to be faithful and to let my yes be yes and my no be no, that I could be counted on. My mom, if my mom said she was going to do something, then I would consider it done. And same thing with my dad. And those are the kind of people, if you're not like that, I encourage you to be more that way, because I can assure you, people want to do business with people whose word is their bond. And as I said, my mom from an early age, was a great example of that. Number 8, was really that I had aspirations when I was growing up, and my mom encouraged them, but she didn't really encourage me to go after them with a shortcut. So I don't think my mom would have been proud of me if I said, "Hey, look, Mom, look what I came up with. I stole it," or I did some kind of a shortcut that was illegal. Or unethical. She wanted me to achieve and to accomplish things and to acquire things, but earning them, not, in a good deal. It can be a really good deal, but it had to be a deal that would be stand the light of day. They always say, and they say it in terms of your grandmother, but if you're thinking about doing something, how would you like it if it was on the front page of the paper and your grandmother read it or your mom read it? So don't do things that won't make your mom proud. So yeah, when I've wanted something, I've understood from my mom that to earn it. Number 9, this was, it's easy to say, but not always easy to do. And that's just telling the truth. My mom, she doesn't lie, even when it hurts. I mean, she's just, and it's not, it doesn't come up that much because I grew up in a culture that was, pretty much a culture of truth. I'm not saying that, in families there aren't secrets or things that are unsaid, but if something is said, and it's time to tell the truth. It's always time to tell the truth. In fact, you get older and then you realize, I wish I'd have told the truth sooner, or answered the question I didn't want to answer sooner. And as I said, moms for Mother's Day or whatever, they want to know their son or their daughter is okay, is doing fine, and that they're coming to grips with who they are, and again, that they're a truth teller. And lastly, 10, my mom, there's just I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It wasn't okay to be lazy, but it was okay to be content. So there's got to be a word, and I don't know, it's not necessarily Mick Jagger's, no satisfaction, but if there's a contentment that doesn't mean you're resting on your laurels. It means you're okay with what you have, and you wouldn't mind more, but you're not willing to lie, cheat, or steal to get more. Again, you're not resting on your laurels, but you're not restless to the point where you're making other people uncomfortable. So if you're in this industry, again, there's a certain healthy ambition and drive that you can have. But if you're never satisfied, again, I'm putting this in the context of my mom or your mom. If you're never satisfied, that surely would not make my mom pleased that her son is doing well if he's not happy with where he is. I'm happy with where I am, and I'm also, but part of that to me means being happy with where you're heading, where you're going. I did an episode probably been a couple weeks ago now, about whether you're a card enthusiast or a card addict. And then I had Tanner Jones on, who's Confessions of a Baseball Card Addict. So, you can be addicted to something that's as benign seemingly as baseball cards or sports cards. But the antidote usually is contentment. of not being so dissatisfied and so restless that you've got to have more. So, I don't think I ever was at an addiction level, but I certainly was driven. And I think my mom had some pleasure in my success at one point, but I don't know that she would have had the same delight knowing the price that was paid, because I didn't cut corners, but a lot of long hours got there. So not suggesting that you shouldn't pay the price, but again, if you're doing it from a deficit of being so dissatisfied that you can't be satisfied, that's not going to please your mom, that you're never satisfied. So to be able to stop one day on which this year is May 10th, and tell your mom you love her, and again, you probably ought to get more than just words for a present, because some people like to actually open something, but just to show her that you're content with who you are. And if you're listening to this, you've got a great hobby that hopefully your mom is thankful that you've got a hobby that can be enjoyed at the level that this certainly has been for me. So thanks, listeners. I'm going to be with my mom on Mother's Day, and I'm thankful for that. And I hope you can do that too. So thanks, moms all over the world. And again, be back tomorrow with another episode.